Hey y'all, welcome back to my live show. I'm Shanta Prince, and I work with women coaches and consultants, and I help them to build a powerful and influential personal brand. I teach them how to create high ticket offers, and then I show them how to sell their products and services online. So, today I want to talk to you about three things that you can do so that you can grow. But before we dive into that, I want to invite you to my brand to sales masterclass that's kicking off on Monday, September the 11th. You can see the link right there at the bottom of the screen. Go to brandtosales.com to get all of the details. This is going to be some of my best work. So I'm super excited to share and just pour out everything that I have to offer you over these 9 days. Now, when you go to the page, you'll see that it says it's a free 5-day masterclass, and it is a 5-day masterclass. However, it's actually 9 days because I have 4 bonus sessions to share with you on all things around building a really awesome brand. And I really want to teach you some of the things that I'm seeing people struggling with when it comes to building a successful online business. I want to teach you how to overcome those obstacles. So if you've been through any of my workshops before, you know I always over deliver, and giving really valuable information is my love language. So if you have not experienced any of my master classes or workshops before, I want to encourage you to go ahead and sign up. Go to brandtosales.com. We're going to talk about so many different things. We're going to talk about the power of expert positioning. We're going to talk about selling made simple. We're going to talk about your 6-figure game plan. Even though I know that for so many of you, your ultimate goal is way beyond 6 figures, right? But the 6 figures is just a first step. 6 figures is just the first step on that ladder, right? So we want to get you to accomplishing some of those goals first as you move into your 7 and 8 figure dreams, and some of you even 9 figures, right? So the ultimate starting point is to really shoot for that first 6 figures, because once you do that first 6 figures, you're going to realize, oh my goodness, 7 figures is not, it doesn't seem so far away. It doesn't seem so hard, right? So we're going to talk about your 6-figure game plan and so much more. My clients know that brand messaging, brand clarity is my jam. Hey, yes to 9 figures. So I'm super excited, you guys. This is going to be some of my best work. This one is going to be a little bit different from any of my other master classes. Yes, some of the content is going to be the same, but a lot of the content has shifted, especially because of the market that we're in right now. So I want to talk about how to thrive in this current market that we're in. So if you want to be on a cutting edge, get signed up for the Brand to Sales Masterclass. So just go to brandtosales.com and grab your spot. So now I want to talk about 3 things that you can do to grow your business. Now, you guys know that I work with women entrepreneurs, and I'm constantly talking to my audience. One thing about me is I'm always in the messages. And so when I talk about things, it's usually because I've found that a number of women are experiencing these things. And I like to talk about them because it is my life's work to help you get to your next level. I'm called to help you step into what you're called to do. And so I want to talk about the things that I see keeping people stuck. So we're going to talk about the things that are hindering your growth, just a few of the things that are hindering your growth, and how you can move forward and step into the next level of who God is calling you to be. So the first thing I want to talk about is one thing to change. And I see this like every day, you guys. And I see that is keeping you back, is keeping you stuck, and that is your need for approval or permission. Okay. That's one thing you're going to have to change if you want to step into the next level of who God is calling you to be, is you have to let go of your need for approval or permission. You don't need permission to be who God is already calling you to be, right? The fact that God has called you, that's all the permission that you need. So when you're looking for approval or permission from other people, you oftentimes can be stuck where you are because the people around you don't approve. And I know what I'm talking about, you guys, because let me give you an example. Years ago, when I was in this specific, well, actually several churches that I have been not just a member of, but in leadership roles. When I look back on it, you guys, I laugh at myself, but I also pray for people who are in churches like this. But some of y'all, this may offend some people, right? Some people are going to listen to this and be a little bit offended, and that's okay. But some of you are going to be like, "Oh my goodness, I hear the Lord speaking to me, and I need to make I need to make some changes." Now, let me give you an example. When I was in a leadership role, I remember when I wanted to do this class because I realized that I had a prophetic gift. I realized that I had these gifts and I didn't know how to use these gifts. Even now, you guys, like I'm really stepping into another level of my giftedness, my spiritual gifts. But I was in this place where I would see things, I was seeing things before they happen. I see things about people. I could hear conversations. Y'all, I hope this is not some of this stuff is not making you want to run away, but it's just the truth. But I was having all these different experiences and I didn't really understand how to use my gifts. I didn't understand that God was showing me things about people so that I could pray for them and different things like that. And so I really didn't know how to use my gifts. And so I wanted to go to this conference where it was all about using your spiritual gifts. And so, right, I know that's right. I know that's right. Amen to that, Natasha. So I wanted to go to this conference where I could learn how to really operate in my spiritual gifts. And I thought that in order for me to do that, that I had to go ask permission from my pastor. And so that's what I did. I asked my pastor, "Hey, can I go to this class?" Y'all, I cringe. Even just telling you this story, I cringe when I think about that. When I think about that time in my life where I thought I had to go get permission from my pastor to take a class that was going to help me to grow. Some of you are in that position right now where you can't do anything unless you go ask your pastor. Let me tell you something. That's toxic. First of all, because we're grown. First of all, we're grown. Second of all, we've been called by God to do something that doesn't need anybody else's permission. Okay, hey Renee. What we're called to do does not need anyone else's permission or approval. So guess what, y'all? I went and asked my pastor, "Can I go to this class?" And guess what he said? No. And guess what I did? I didn't go to the class. Listen, y'all, the gifts that God has put on my life, the gifts that God have put on your life are crucial to the lives of other people. It could be your family, it could be people that you're connected to. God is calling you to do something that's going to impact other lives. I always say this, that your gifts are not for you, they're for the people that you're called to. Okay? And so because of that, you guys, now let me tell you, now I don't usually talk about this a lot, but you're going to see me talk about the prophetic even more because I am called to teach this to entrepreneurs. So we're going to talk about this a little bit more in the future, in the very near future, as a matter of fact. But I'm called to teach this to entrepreneurs, how to operate in the prophetic, how to hear from God for your business, and how you can grow in the marketplace. Okay. But there's been many times where I've spoken a word over somebody's life and it has come to pass, right? Now, one thing about me, you guys, I don't go around calling myself prophet. I don't do that. Because when people see me flowing in my gifts, they're able to see who I am and they're able to see the calling. But the thing is, you guys, like it's not something that I like to do, and my husband knows. Because listen, every time God uses me in the prophetic capacity, I always feel so vulnerable afterwards, and I don't like that feeling, right? Because the way that my mind works, I like to be in control. I like to know what's going on. I like to be informed. When it comes to the prophetic, that's not the case. I'm not in control. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's coming next, and many times I don't know what I'm going to say until I open my mouth. For me, that's scary. It's uncomfortable. I do not like it. And so it's not something that I'm always like raising my hand to do and things like that. And so, but when I speak a word over somebody's life, when I see things and I speak the word, it comes to pass. Okay. And I've done this many, many times over. But imagine if I never learned how to release the prophetic, or how to speak a word when I hear God speaking. Imagine the people's lives that would not have been impacted, because I needed somebody's permission. Right. Yes. Yep. Right, Natasha. So you guys, so I asked for permission. He said no, and I didn't go. But eventually, I ended up leaving that place, and I ended up connecting with some people who were not intimidated by my gifts, but they were able to train me up. And so the fruit of what you see now, when I do, and I talked about this the other day on one of my posts, how when I see something for one of my clients, I release the prophetic word. I say what I see. I prophesy to my clients. And so I use my gifts every day in my business. Even when I have hosted in-person events, the Lord uses me to speak prophetic words to people. But that's one of the gifts that I had, that, listen, I would not have known how to use my gift if I didn't stop asking for permission and step into who God was calling me to be at that time. Thank you, Natasha. So because I was able to really start to understand, what was really happening, you guys, I was stuck in stagnation, because I kept waiting on somebody to approve me or to give me permission. Let me tell you a secret. Not everybody around you has your best interests in their hearts. Okay? And what I've experienced is that sometimes people recognize your gift before you even recognize your gift. And sometimes people don't want you to outshine them. Now, I'm not talking about everybody, right? Because and I know that you have more supporters than you do haters. We all have a few haters, right? But I promise you, there are more people who support you than are hating on you. But let me tell you, some people see your greatness, they recognize your gifts. And see, this is how we get abused sometimes, right? Those of us who are gifted, sometimes we get abused because we don't recognize the gift and somebody else recognizes it. And they're abusing us. And here's what I mean by abuse. Anything that's being used other than for its intended purpose is abuse. That's where we come up with alcohol abuse and drug abuse, and anything that's being used other than its intended purpose is abuse. And so when people recognize our gifts before we do, that opens the floor for them to abuse us or misuse us. And it causes so much hurt and heartache, you guys, when we don't recognize who we are, or when we're waiting for somebody's approval for us to do what God is calling us to do. And if you go back and if you even read in the scriptures, you'll see that the Bible talks about how pastors and ministry leaders are not called to lord over us. When you ask for permission to do something, that's you allowing them to lord over you. At the end of the day, we all have to walk out our own. We all on a journey where we all have to walk out our faith, okay? And so this is an example of what I mean by like needing approval or needing a permission. You don't even need approval or permission from your coaches, your mentors, none of that. Now, there's a difference between getting wisdom, right? Getting wisdom on how to do a thing or how to go and accomplish a thing. That's not the same thing as needing approval, okay? And I was just telling one of my clients this the other day. I said, you gotta trust yourself. But that moves me to my next point. But I was just telling him, like, you gotta trust yourself. You are ready. You've been with me for a whole year. You've been showing up. You've been getting all this teaching. You are ready. Okay. And so number one, stop seeking for people's approval and permission to be who God is calling you to be. When you do that, it's like the chains break. Like, oh my goodness, like I don't have to ask any. Listen, we stopped doing that when we moved out of our parents' house. Okay, you don't need anybody's permission, anybody's approval. Okay, seek wisdom, not approval. Okay, so now let's move on. Okay, so we're talking about, right? Exactly, it's the freedom, like the chains literally break off, y'all, because I always say this, when you face God, it's going to be an I story, right? Meaning Listen, it's all about what when I face the Lord, it's all about what I did. Okay. I can't say, well, I didn't do this because Renee didn't do this. Or I didn't do that because Natasha didn't help me. Or no, it's gonna be an I story. I'm only gonna be able to take accountability for my actions. Can you imagine not stepping into what God is calling you to be because somebody told you no? Somebody who wasn't even in a position to do so, but because somebody told you no? Okay. The other thing that's going to help you to grow, you guys, is really trusting yourself more. Let me tell you, everything that you do in this next season is going to feel scary. It's going to feel scary. It may make your knees tremble, but I always say, do it afraid. That's how I live, y'all. When I did the Food Network show, a lot of people don't know this unless I say it, but I'm like, that was one of the scariest things I've ever had to do. I had to cook on national TV. And I didn't even think I was all that great at grilling either. So I'm like, listen, I was so afraid to do the show. I literally almost called the producers and was like, I wanted to call them and say, I'm out. And when I showed up to do the show, guess what? There were alternates there waiting for somebody to not show up so they can get a spot on the show. But all of us showed up, so the alternates didn't get a spot on that day. They didn't get my spot on that day, y'all. But let me tell you, I had to do that afraid, and I ended up winning the show. And and I did it afraid. And so this is what I encourage my clients to do, is to step out and do it afraid. So trust yourself more. Many times we're already prepared for the thing that God is calling us to do right now, and we don't even realize it. When you look back over your life and you're like, wait a minute, what have I done to prepare me for this moment? I promise you, whatever you're facing right now in your life, in your business, if you take a few moments and you ask yourself, what have I been through that has already prepared me for this moment? I promise you, you're going to find so many things that you've done and that you come through, and you'll be like, oh my goodness. One of my clients just the other day, she's like, I'm putting my offer out there. I've been so afraid to do it. And I'm like, girl, you have faced death. And I was like, there's nothing scarier than that. I'm like, basically, I'm telling her, if you've been through that, you can surely put this offer out here. Right? So like, you got to step up. You got to step into this thing and do it. See, listen, the thing that we have to understand is that when you are courageous, it doesn't mean you don't feel afraid, right? Courage is doing what you know needs to be done, even when you do feel afraid. Can't really have courage without without fear, right? Courage is rising up even in the moment where you feel afraid or you feel intimidated. Do it with your knees trembling, do it with your knees knocking, right? So trusting yourself and knowing that, okay, these are the gifts that God has given me. This is what God is calling me to do, and I'm going forward in this thing. I'm going forward and I'm trusting what God has put in me. Okay? Confidence is rooted in trust. If you go look up the word confidence, you will get a new understanding of what confidence actually is. Confidence comes from trust. And the reason why so many people don't have the confidence to move into the next level, to do what God is calling them to do, is because they don't trust themselves. Confidence is self-trust. And many times the reason why there's a struggle when you're stepping into the next level of business or your next level of living is because you're looking back on some of the mistakes that you made. Like, oh, I had this opportunity and I fumbled it, or I had this situation and I didn't do well with it, or I did this launch and only one person signed up, or I offered this course and only one person paid for it. Been there and done all of that. And so what happens is when you get ready to do the next thing, that pops up in your mind, and now you don't trust yourself, right? Your confidence is low because you're like, well, I did this 3 months ago and it didn't work. It didn't work the way that I wanted it to work. Okay. Listen, if it didn't work, that was just the warm up. That was just your warm up, right? You keep going until you get where God is taking you. I'm sure when Noah was building the ark, I'm pretty sure some things he probably had to take down and do it again. I'm sure if you think about the whole process, I'm pretty sure it was a struggle at some times because he was building something that had never been built. He was building something that had never been seen. Y'all don't think he made mistakes? I'm pretty sure he made a lot of mistakes building that ark. Okay. Even though he had the directions and the blueprint, I'm pretty sure he had to do some things over again. But did he stop building? No. Did the ark do what it was supposed to do? Yes. Okay. So the entrepreneurs these days, they make one mistake and they're ready to throw the whole business away. They do one launch and it doesn't work out the way that they wanted it to work out. They shut the whole business down. They talk to two people about their offer and they both say no, and they're ready to throw the offer away and do something different. Okay. Another thing that I see people doing when they don't trust themselves is they keep trying to add more. They keep trying to go back and do more. And let me tell you what this looks like. The first way that it shows up is you keep going back and getting more certifications. Oh, I need this certification. And you constantly getting certifications. And you're constantly in school and you're learning and learning and learning and you're not making any money. Your business is not growing because you keep feeling like, oh, I need this, I need that. Really, you are enough already right now, today, at 12:34 p.m. Eastern. You're ready right now. You are enough right now. And you keep going back and you keep getting these things and because you feel like, well, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. Even though if you're not saying it, if you're not saying it like openly, deep down inside, you're feeling like, okay, I'm not enough. So you keep adding things to your resume. Another way that this shows up is with offers. My clients do this all the time, right? Not just one of my clients, but several of my clients. And I have to tell them, listen, they feel like, oh, I need to add more. If I'm going to charge more, I need to add more stuff. No, you do not need to add more stuff. You just have to really articulate the value that you're bringing. And they feel like, well, if I'm charging high ticket, I have to offer 3,000 things in this offer. And you do not. That's that subconscious, oh, it's not good enough. I got to add more to it or people won't pay for it. That's not true. People are paying for the amazingness that God put on the inside of you that they know they can't get anywhere else. Right? You can't get another Natasha. You can't get another Renee. You can't get another Shanta. People are paying. That's what they're paying for, right? And this is what I teach with my clients. I help them to really bring out who they are. When I design offers for my clients, I take into account their personality, their stories, what they've done. And I immediately see things and put the pieces together for them. Because when I listen to them, I'm like, oh, your background is in this. You could pull this into your offer and offer this. And it's always amazing to them because they're like, wow, I never really saw it like that. That's how you flow in authenticity. And that's how you flow in power because you're not doing anything that you're not designed to do or anything that you are not already equipped to do. And that's why I said, when you look back and you think about, okay, what have I done or what have I experienced that has prepared me for this moment? Okay. God is very strategic in what he does and how he does it. Okay. Something has gotten you prepared for the thing that you're facing right now. Okay. So trust yourself more, believe in what God has put in you and go forward, move forward. And then finally, this is another thing that's going to help you to grow in life and in business. And that is make people respect your time. And the reason why I say make people respect your time is because some people are just so nonchalant with their time. And let me tell you, that is one thing that really like grinds my gears is when a person is nonchalant about, listen, be nonchalant about your time, but don't be nonchalant about mine. Okay. I'm so serious about this. If I have a potential client, let's say I set up a call with the potential client. If this potential client misses the call for a nonchalant kind of reason, I no longer pursue them for business. I no longer seek to do business with them. As a matter of fact, I will not do business with them. I'm talking about like, oh man, oh sorry, or I forgot, or oh well, I had something else going on. Or, I scheduled a call, but I knew I was going to be at work and I just couldn't. I was doing something at work and I couldn't get off. Those types of things, and it's not just those things, it's those things without communication. If the person says, "Oh, you know what, something came up, can I reschedule?" Right? That's different. But what I'm talking about is the ones who are just so nonchalant about my time. I will not take you on as a client. If you're blowing me off and we haven't even started working together, I will not do business with you. And if you sign up for one of my programs, I will go into my payment processor and give you a refund, because we cannot do business together because you don't respect my time. So the way that you make people respect your time is, there are a few ways to do that. Stop letting people pick your brain. Get your consultation fee together. Okay, get your consultation fee together so that you know what to say to people when they start. So let me give you an example. So my husband and I was just talking about this yesterday. I get a lot of questions in my messenger on a regular basis, and I appreciate the questions. And I want you guys to reach out to me and ask me questions. Right, Renee, you cannot get that time back. There's a difference between a quick question and a coaching question. If you ask me a coaching question, then that is really a whole different ball game than you asking me something quick. What I mean by quick is like, hey, what do you think is a good email list provider? Or like one of my clients the other day, she was like, hey, yesterday, Natasha was trying to work on some stuff, and she asked me a quick question. That's different from like a coaching question, right? So if you're asking, hey, well, what should I use? And y'all ask me this kind of stuff all the time. Hey, you got any good resources for people who create graphics, or things like that? Or if you're asking, stuff like, website providers, email list providers, things like that I could answer pretty quickly. Those kinds of questions I take all the time. But when you're asking me things like, well, how much should I price this offer? Or that's a coaching question. That's the kind of stuff that I reserve for my clients. Why? Because they're paying me. That's what they're paying me for. Okay. And so in those situations, you have to understand the difference between someone asking you just a regular everyday question and then someone asking you a coaching question. Because if they're asking you a coaching question, you need to get on a call with them, and you need to be first of all sending them an invoice, and then you need to be getting on with them after you send that invoice and that invoice is paid. That's another way to get people to respect your time. Okay. Another one is, for example, when I work with clients, I create them an offer, right? I help them to design an offer. I get on Zoom with them and I help them to design an offer that they can actually go sell. Now, let me tell you, I have not had a client yet who has put their offer out there and did not sell it. Now, I do have clients who I create offers for, and they don't sell the offer that I help them create. They create something else to sell. And that's their choice. That's their choice to do that. But I can say with complete confidence, my clients, when they put their offers out there that I help them to design, those offers sell. Okay. However, if someone just came to me outside of a client and they say, hey, Shanta, I really need your help designing my offer, I charge them $4,500 to do that. Okay. $4,500. So my clients, they get that at no extra cost. They get my time, they get my ideas, they get my brain, they get my copywriting skills. They get all of that as a result of them joining my program. Outside of that is that's a $4,500 service, and it's probably going to go up. Okay. If anybody outside of my clients wants me to create an offer, they got to pay. That's another way that people respect your time, right? When you add a dollar amount to your time, because see, y'all, it's bigger than your time. It's your time, but it's your experience, it's your expertise, it's your ideas, it's your energy. There's so much that goes into the work that you do, and you got to be comfortable with charging accordingly and being confident about it. There's that word confidence again, right? Charging charging accordingly and being confident in what you're charging. If I go to Nordstrom, I'm not going to go to Nordstrom and complain about the price, right? If I don't like the price at Nordstrom, then okay, I'll just go somewhere else. I'll go to Dillard's or go to Walmart or whatever, right? You got to be comfortable charging, and you're always going to have people that are like, "Ooh, that's too much." I remember being on a consultation call with somebody, and I gave her my price. You guys, her whole facial expression was like, "Girl, that is way too much." She looked at me like, "Girl, for what?" Right? But I didn't let that shake me because I'm confident in my pricing. I know what I bring to the table. And if you don't see the value in what I bring to the table, I'm okay with that. But you not seeing it doesn't affect me at all. Because I do have people who pay that and more. Okay. So you gotta stop being shaken by people when they look at your prices and cringe. That's okay, because guess what? There are people who are willing and able to pay you premium. I promise you, they are out there. They are out there. You just got to expand your circle, right? If your circle is this big and you're having a problem finding people to pay your price, you got to expand your circle to this big, right? Because then that's when you're gonna find your people. If you're working in a circle that's this big and you're struggling, you gotta grow. You gotta grow. This is why I teach visibility, right? Because you gotta grow. Right. Pitch and don't listen. Put that price out there and don't flinch, right? Because this is what it is. I promise you, there are people out there who are willing and able to pay you. Okay. You don't have to sit around and beg people to work with you. And I say that in complete confidence, right? Your people are out there, right? If you got your offer together, I can help you to get clients, even if you don't have your offer together. I can help you create your offer. Then I can show you how to go find the people and close the sale. Okay. So we're talking about 3 things you can do to grow. This is in life and business. Number 1, we talk about cutting off your need for approval or permission from anybody for you to be who God is calling you to be, right? If God is calling you to be this, you don't need anybody else's permission, okay? Number 2, trust yourself more. Trust what God has put on the inside of you. Trust your gifts, trust your expertise, and understand that you're ready right now. You're good enough right now, okay? You don't need to keep adding things to your offer. You need to keep adding things to your resume. You're good enough right now, okay? And then number 3, make people respect your time. Stop letting people suck your time away without you getting anything in return. All this stuff that you've been through, listen, it's your time to be prosperous, right? And people are willing and able to pay you. But if you're caught up with people who aren't willing to pay you, they just want to suck your time away, how are you going to serve the people who are willing to pay you, okay? So think about ways that you can make people respect your time. If you've been working for free and people are connecting or reaching out to you, you let them know. This is what you say: I would love to help you with your whatever. Let's just use Natasha. I would love to help you with your fitness journey. Here's the link to make your payment and schedule a consultation with me, or schedule a session with me, a coaching session with me. You send them that link. If they're serious, they will click that link. If they're not serious, they will block you or ghost you. Okay. And that's okay, right? Because we want to know the ones who are serious. If they don't click that link, they weren't serious in the first place. Okay. And you got to be the person who's not afraid to put that out there, right? You got to be the person who has the courage to say, listen, this is how much it costs to get my time and my expertise for that. And be okay with it, right? If they say no, be okay with it, right? Because when you're doing business, you got to understand that out of every 10 people, maybe one person might be your client, right? If you if you only talk to 2 people and they said no to your offer, you haven't even dipped your toe in the water yet. You got to talk to more people. You got to be seen by more people, you guys. This is why I teach on visibility, how important it is to be visible, to be seen. Because the more people who see you, the more clients you're going to be able to get, right? Yeah, right, Natasha, exactly. Goodbye. And so that, y'all, I'm telling you, if you really focus on the things that we're talking about today, you're going to see tremendous growth. Even if you listen, I I have a friend who she always says, you know what, Shanta? She said, you live your life by faith. I really do, you guys. Half of the things that I do, I have another friend who asked me, she's like, how do you do all this stuff in your life? Like, I look at the stuff that you do. How are you doing all this stuff? I'm like, by faith. Every single investment that I made, you guys, has stretched me. Because for me, like, look, I live life on the edge, y'all. Like, for real, for real. I live life on the edge, but it's so exciting to step out in faith so you can get to that next level. I don't live my life in the capacity of what I can see before me, right? I don't make investments based on what I already have in my bank account. That may be the that might be the craziest thing you've ever heard. You guys, I do not make investments based on what I already have in my account. This is how I this is how I think, y'all. This is how I make investment and how I'm making decisions. If the investment is $40,000 and I've got $10,000 in the available income, I may say, you know what? I'm gonna make this investment, and then when I get the return on investment, I'm gonna use my return to pay the rest to pay the other $30,000, right? This is how I always have done things. And every when I tell you every single investment that I made in my business has stretched me. It has not been comfortable. See, most people when they make an investment, they make it out of what's comfortable. They'll say, well, you know what? I can't do $1,000 a month. I can only do $200 a month, right? And listen, there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm talking about when you are really, really fighting to get to that next level, you literally gotta you gotta trust yourself, right? You gotta bet on yourself. Every single investment I made, I took a bet on myself, and I said, okay, listen, I'm not going to fail because God is with me, and I'm not going to fail, right? And so I make the investment, and then I do the work. I do the work so I can get a return on that investment. That's wisdom, you guys. Any investor will tell you that when they're making the decisions, they're looking at what am I getting in return, right? Because here's the thing, if I'm doing this investment based on what I already have in front of me, that's going to keep me at the same level all the time. But when I make an investment, I'm thinking about what am I going to get out of this? Because if this investment is $40,000 and I've got $10,000, but with the return on the investment, I can get $100,000. I'm so in. I'm gonna find. Listen, I'm gonna find a way to make this money, right? To get this return on my investment, right? And I'm so thankful that I have some of my clients are like that. They are like, listen, they're like, I'm gonna do the work. I'm gonna get a return. I'm gonna make this money, right? I'm gonna listen. I'm the kind of person my coach is always going to be paid. I don't care if I have to go, I don't care if I have to set up a lemonade stand in front of my house. My coach is going to be paid. I'm going to, because this mentorship is so important, y'all. And my clients are the same way. They're going to find a way, even if it's a struggle, they will find a way. This is how important I believe it is to invest, to trust yourself, right? When you make those investments, when you make an investment, you guys, it's really about you trusting in yourself. When people don't want to invest with you, don't get offended, you guys, because it may be something that they're struggling. They in their minds, they may say, well, if I spend $1,000 on this, I'm just going to be out of $1,000. And it may be a personal issue. It may not even be anything to do with you or your offer. It may just be a personal struggle that they're dealing with. Maybe they don't trust themselves. Maybe they don't have the confidence. But you're going to find some people are like, listen, I'm going to make this investment and I'm gonna bet on myself and I'm gonna do the work with whatever outcome you promise. It doesn't have to be financial outcome. It could be whatever you say, whatever results you say you can help people to get. But y'all, it starts with trusting yourself, y'all. You can open the floodgates in your life. Open the floodgates by cutting off your need for anyone's permission or approval to be who God is calling you to be. I promise you, the floodgates will open. Okay. When I say things, listen, if I say things and it looks like I'm saying it like just you you can be in a place in your life. I remember when I was listening to this a mentor of mine years ago, and she was saying some things, and I was just like, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. There was a time in my life where I could not wrap my mind around abundance because I was struggling. I had just gotten out of the Navy. My household went from two incomes to one income. I was a full-time student. I had a new baby. There was so much going on in my life that I could not wrap my mind around abundance. And I couldn't grab what she was saying because I was in a place of struggle. I couldn't even see beyond that. And that's how some of your people are. They can't see beyond the struggle. So if I say something and you're like, oh, I can't even, she's saying it so easily and so effortlessly. Y'all, if it comes off like that, it's because I'm so confident in what I'm telling you. I'm so confident in it, and I believe it, and I know it to be true for you. Okay. When I tell you letting go of your need for permission or approval, it will open the floodgates in your life because you'll start moving with God. You'll start moving with God. Listen, God didn't consult with any of those people before he laid out his plans for you. Okay. He didn't consult with any of them. He didn't even consult with your parents, your mom and dad. Okay. Listen, your next level of success is between you and God. I'm not kidding. Your next level of success is between you and God. It's what you believe about how God is leading you, is what you believe about how God has designed you and equipped you, is what you believe about what God has put on the inside of you. This next level is between you and God. Trusting, not needing approval from anybody else because God has already given you that. Trusting yourself more, trusting what God has put inside of you, and making people respect your time, you guys. Make people respect your time. Don't let people suck your time away that don't want to pay you. Let me tell you that's not biblical. Listen, that's not biblical. Folks sucking your time away and not wanting to pay you is not biblical. Okay? As a matter of fact, the Bible tells us that if you listen, the worker is worthy of his hire. You're worthy to be paid. Working for free is not biblical. Right? Now, I'm not talking about volunteering. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you run a business, you're called by God to run a business. That means you're called by God to profit. Because a business, it needs to profit to be successful. If you're called to business, you're called to be profitable. There's no other way around it, right? You have to be profitable. And one of your biggest assets is your time. So don't allow people to drain your time or suck your time, right? If they're not willing to pull out that card, you keep it moving. You keep it moving because once you start giving, guess what they do? That's a taker. That's a taker. That person's going to keep taking and keep taking and keep taking. Make people respect their time. Right. Be a good steward. Yep, Natasha, I'm gonna teach on this as stewardship as well. So you guys, next Monday, I'm kicking off my brand to sales masterclass. I know some of you already signed up, and some of you have invited other people. Thank you so much for inviting other people. Go ahead and grab your spot. If you haven't, go to brandtosales.com, grab your spot in the brand to sales masterclass. It is my 9-day workshop. If you go to the page, it's going to say 5 days, and it is 5 days, but I do bonus sessions. This time is me really just pouring out. My clients have told me this in the past. They said, Shanta, you just pour, and I do pour. That's my love language. Giving valuable information to help you get ahead is my love language. It's what I enjoy doing. It's one of the reasons why I go so long. When I show up on Thursdays, I was doing good the last few weeks, keeping it around about 30 minutes. But this is my love language. I love to give information that's going to help you to get to the next level, you guys. Because you know what? I believe in many ways that poverty is is largely due to a lack of information. I can't say that in every single case, but in many cases, lack of information is associated with poverty. And the reason why I say that is because sometimes people are where they are just because they just don't know what to do, or they don't know. Like, I have a friend who is a physician, and she is building a clinic to help people reverse diabetes. And we talked about how a lot of people, she's like, a lot of people don't know that they can reverse it by just eating right and exercising and different things like that. And so we talked about how, like, it's just they need the information, right? If somebody's struggling, they may not know, oh my gosh, I can totally get in control of this. They don't think that there's a way out, right? And so that's an example of what I mean by like a lack of information, right? Maybe you want to build a profitable business, but maybe you just need the information, you just don't know how. When somebody shows you the way, it's like, oh my goodness, I know how to do this, I'm unstoppable now, right? And so when I am teaching and giving information, it is my love language. I love to give information, which I equate to a form of light, right? Information in a place where there's no information is light, right? Like, for example, when the scripture talks about my people perish for a lack of knowledge. Okay. It didn't say my people perish from this disease, or that it's a lack of knowledge, right? And so that's why I love the way that I do. So if I'm teaching y'all, just know that this is my love language. And I'm so thankful for y'all because y'all just be hanging with me. My clients the same, they just be hanging with me. So I appreciate you guys so much. So grab your spot in the Brand Sales Masterclass. And I will see you next week. So we're going to kick off on Monday. And next Thursday will be, I'll be in the Brand Sales Masterclass. Okay. So next Thursday session will be day 4 of the Brand to Sales Masterclass. If you have any questions about the masterclass or any questions about anything that I talked about, feel free to shoot me a message on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you connect with me at. I'm pretty much on every social media platform. You can message me on any social media platform that you see me on. Natasha says this class is fire. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you so much. And y'all, let me tell you, the content that's coming out this time is really is some of it is the same, but a lot of it has been shifted. Okay. A lot of it has been shifted, and we're going to talk about the current times and in the current market that we're in. Yeah, Natasha always tells me I'm never getting rid of her, and she absolutely means what she says. So grab your spot. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be a nice time of just fellowshipping and connecting with other people, because you're going to see other names pop up, and you'll be able to connect with other ladies. You're going to see some of my clients pop up. And let me tell you, any of my clients are great people to connect with. All of my clients, my current and former clients, are amazing women. And you can find them changing lives. You can find them cheering other people on. One of my clients mentioned something to me. She's like, well, I don't want to share this because your other clients might feel some kind of way. I said, no, ma'am. I said, no, they won't. I said, my clients are going to cheer you on. I said, they're going to cheer you on. They are not those type of women. Let me tell you, my clients are functioning in abundance. They're encouraging people. They're contagious. So connect with any of them. And so you'll be able to see some of their names and faces pop up. Thank you, Renee. You'll be able to see some of those faces pop up, and you'll be able to connect with them and some other people. I believe that connection is crucial during this next season, you guys. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think that the next big thing is about the next huge funnel or the next huge course. Those things are going to matter, but I believe that the next big thing that's going to happen is through connecting with people, connecting with other people. And I believe that's the way that God designed it to be. I believe that God designed it, even us introverts. Connection is so powerful. Connecting with other people is going to be the way to your next level. And I teach this inside of my program. Natasha says, so good, I want to take it again. Absolutely, Natasha. And some of my clients do sign up again. or they'll just drop by and watch the session. So that's perfectly fine. But you guys, I am super excited, you guys, for this masterclass. And I've been working away, plugging away at it, and I cannot wait to pour out this next level of teaching for you guys to help propel you into your next level. You're also going to see me unveil a totally revamped offer, and is designed the way that it's designed to serve you even better and in a greater capacity. Yep. Renee says I'm a repeat attendee, and I have that a lot. I love my repeat attendees. I told you guys how I had people that it's the fourth or fifth masterclass. They're like, okay, I'm gonna join. So that's totally fine, because sometimes, it really does take, like, y'all, it takes you hearing stuff over and over and over again sometimes. I'm a fast learner, y'all, but some things, like, I have to sit in it, like I have to immerse myself in it over and over and over again to really get a download that changes me, right? And so that's why when I see my repeat attendees, I love that, and I love on them, because they're like, listen, I'm about to immerse myself in this again. And that's what we need, you guys, because you know what? We don't see mastery enough. We see people learning something, and then the next day they're out doing the thing, and that's okay. But we don't see enough people who want to master what they're doing. Everybody just wants to get somewhere quick without taking the time to master something. And this is what mastery is about, y'all. It's about immersing in things over and over again. It's about staying consistent in what you're doing until you become a master at that thing. Now, my husband jokes around that so I when I was growing up, my dad used to watch all kinds of, like, those, like, old karate movies, and he still watches them. So, like, y'all, listen, don't laugh at me, y'all, but I remember Samurai Sunday that my dad used to have on the TV every Sunday. Samurai Sunday, where he would watch all these old karate movies and stuff. And so because of that, I'm like, I never really, like, wanted to watch those movies. So this show, I watched this movie. You guys may be familiar with it. It's called Ip Man. And when I first saw the trailer, I was like, oh, I want to watch this. And my husband had already seen all of the Ip Man movies. I think there are like 4 of them. My husband had already seen all 4 of the Ip Man movies, but I wanted to watch them. So he watched all 4 of them with me. And I said to him, I said, you know what? I said, because Bruce Lee shows up in the Ip Man movies. And so I told him, I said, you know what? I haven't seen any Bruce Lee. No, it was a specific Bruce Lee movie that I haven't seen. Y'all don't laugh at me. I think, is it Enter the Dragon? So I was telling my husband, I was like, man, I haven't seen that movie with Bruce Lee, but I've seen all 4 of the Ip Man movies. And and so my husband said, he said, don't tell anybody else that but me. Yeah, Enter the Dragon. Yeah. So I hadn't seen Enter the Dragon yet, but I had seen all 4 of the Ip Man movies. And my husband was like, don't tell that to anybody but me, okay? Just keep that keep that between us. And here I am telling y'all. But anyway, I hadn't seen that movie. But y'all know what's funny? I hadn't seen any other Bruce Lee movies, but I had heard of how great he was, and I understand how great he was, and how he paved the way for so many people. So I understood that enough. And but there's one thing that, even though I hadn't seen any of his movies, I always remembered this quote that he said. And the quote is, it really, and I'm getting ready to share it with you in just a minute. And the quote is something along the lines of, the quote is about mastery, but he talks about how, he really fears the man who does one kick 1,000 times. He said that right there that's something that makes me really pay attention. When a man does a kick 1,000 times, guess what that is? That's mastery, right? And so he knows, okay, this man is dangerous because he's done this 1,000 times. Like he's practiced it so many times that now he's mastered it. And so that's what I mean by, like, we don't have enough people who are interested in mastery. Okay, people who are willing to practice. Or is it 10,000? I think I'm messing it up, y'all. So I fear the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once. That's what it is. It's not 1,000. It's 10,000. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Okay, I got it together, y'all. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. And so, y'all, like what I'm seeing in this space with entrepreneurs, hey, is Jabrisha, what I'm seeing with entrepreneurs right now is that they're the ones who they are doing the 10,000 kicks. Okay, they're doing the 10,000 different things, right? They're doing 10,000 different kicks instead of taking one kick and doing it 10,000 times. And because of that, there's stagnation because you're hopping on to the next best thing. You're doing one thing and you're like, oh, let me try this. Instead of getting rooted with somebody. Can I tell y'all something, y'all? And I say this with all of my heart, that listening to so many different people kept my business stuck for years. For years, y'all. Like hopping to the next thing kept me stuck so long because one person is doing it this way and I'm trying to do it this way. And then now I bought this other class and this person is doing it this way. So now I'm trying to do it this way. And then I go buy another class and now this person is teaching it this way. You guys, let's just be honest. There's so many ways you can make your next 6 figures or your next million. There are a lot of different ways to get there. But the key is getting rooted and saying, this is the route that I'm taking. And you get in it and you work at it and you work at it and you work at it until you get to where you're trying to go. But what happens is we get impatient and we hop from thing to thing to thing. And guess what it does? It delays the process even more. And so my suggestion is to always find somebody who's doing it the way you want to do it and you follow their mentorship. Okay. One of the things that I teach on excellence. I teach on connecting with people. And that's why I teach on launching, because that's a powerful strategy for connecting with people and selling your program, especially if you're new. The way that I teach, there's a reason why I teach the way that I teach, because my clients are the kind of women who operate in excellence. And so when I teach them, I'm teaching them how to do business in excellence. Not just a quick shortcut trying to do things overnight. I teach them long game strategies. Not just get rich overnight type of stuff, right? We know getting rich overnight is impossible. But I teach them strategies and they connect with me and they follow my teachings because this is how they want to build. They want to build a business for the long game. They want to do this for the long game. And so they understand, okay, I need to put these things in place because I'm in this thing for the long game, right? But you find someone who's doing it the way you want to do it, and you stay rooted in that, and you master it. You become a master at what you're doing, and then you'll be so sought out. Listen, we seek out people who have mastered what they're doing, and guess what else we do? We pay them a lot of money. We pay a lot of money for experts who have mastered what they're doing. Okay, so all the stuff that we're talking about. Right, Natasha. Can't eat at everybody's house. This is so true. You can't eat at everybody's house. This is true. I agree. So you guys, so we're going to dive more into this in the masterclass next week. Okay. So make sure you grab your spot. Go to brandtosales.com, grab your spot in the masterclass. We're going to be live every day at noon. I know some of you guys are working and you can't be live at noon. And that's why I run a live replay every night at 7 p.m. So for those of you who are working, you can come back and watch the replay, okay? So don't feel like you're going to miss everything. So yes. Thank you so much, Renee. I appreciate you so much. Right. It's so true, Renee. Oh my goodness. That you are not called to, you're not called to all people. Y'all, when I have to tell people that, sometimes it's shocking because it's like, listen, God didn't call you to everybody. Y'all, even if you look at throughout the scriptures, you'll see that even some of the great greats that we see in the scriptures, they knew who they were called to. Paul was called to a different audience, right? He knew, listen, this I'm going over here. I'm called to the Gentiles, right? He knew I know where I know where I'm going. I know who I'm called to, right? And so we have to understand that we are not called to everybody. And for me, you guys, I've been in a place for a very long time in my business. I do not want to work with people who I'm not called to work with. I want to work with the people I'm called to work with. And so what I teach is I show you how to find the people you're called to serve, the people who are looking for what you have to offer. And then I help you close those sales, right? Because we want to build businesses that are purposeful and we want to be prosperous, right? And I believe that when you're walking in purpose, then you also your path of purpose is also your path to prosperity. And I believe that God wants us all to be prosperous, right? Even as our soul prospers. Okay. And so you've got to understand how to be in purpose and how to also be profitable at the same time. And this is why I teach the way that I teach. My clients are very gifted, and I teach them how to make money by using their gifts and by telling their story, right? Because their story is what draws people to them. So I teach them how to tell their stories. And I teach them how to just be who they are and make money. Y'all, that's the most beautiful place to be in, right? Being who you are, nothing more, nothing less, and being able to make money. Y'all, we don't have to be anybody who we're not. You can totally be yourself and make a lot of money just being who you are. Because everybody else is already taken, right? Everybody else is already taken. Why be somebody else when you can be your amazing self? All right, you guys. I'm going to get ready for next week. Like I said, I'm so excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. Brandtosales.com to grab your spot in the Brand to Sales Masterclass. There's also an opportunity for you to upgrade to VIP, where I'll be teaching you the same stuff the strategies that I use to create offers for my clients. I'm going to be showing you how I do that step by step, so you can learn how to create offers, because that's something that you're going to be able to need to do to thrive during this time. You're going to know how to create offers. So when you see that something is happening in the market, you can say, "Oh, you know what? I need to fill this gap right here." You'll know how to create an offer to fill a specific gap, right? According to your realm, right? The mountain that God has given you. You'll be able to create offers to provide to fill the needs of your audience and what they're doing. But you got to understand how to create offers. So when you upgrade to VIP, I'll be giving you a special course on how to create those offers. Okay. All right, you guys. Right. Don't be out here front. I know that's right. So I'll see you guys in the Brand Sales Masterclass. And again, next Thursday, I'll be in the Brand Sales Masterclass. So hope to see you there. Y'all have a beautiful Thursday and an amazing weekend. And I'll see you in the Brand Sales Masterclass. See you again soon.